Good morning everyone, welcome to today's YouTube Live, and today we're going to go through a technique where I show you how to analyze your exam papers. Now this technique is useful if you are doing GCSE, A-Level, or even if you're doing a subject other than maths. So it doesn't matter what subject you're doing, it doesn't matter what level you're doing. What I'm about to show you today, I'm not going to show you any maths, I'm going to show you how to analyze your exam papers. So you get told it's time to revise, all right? But no one actually tells you how to revise. So the first thing you need to know is how you revise, and most people will revise by reading notes, writing notes, organizing their notes, and doing exam papers. But then what else are you supposed to do after that? Because there's a lot more to revision than just reading and writing notes and doing exam papers. Once you do these exam papers, you need to know what to do next. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk to you about today. So there are two techniques that you can use with your exam papers. So technique number one is the one I'm going to talk to you about today. And this one is where we look at where you are losing marks. Okay, so technique number one is we look at where you are losing marks. And I've created a little spreadsheet for you, and I'm going to share a little link with you at the end of the session where you can download it for yourself as well. And there's also a second technique. This one I'm just going to talk about. I'm not going to go through in detail, but maybe I could do a different live stream on this. But technique two is where you analyze all exam papers for your subject. Now this one is more maths specific. This one works for maths papers, mainly because in maths papers you have the same questions coming up again and again. So each year we seem to get the same types of questions coming up. So technique number two is more of a maths technique. Now you analyze the papers and you identify the key topic. Identify the topics and marks, and you kind of look for trends. So if, for example, if you're doing GCSE, you notice that circle theorems comes for a total of 8 marks in 2017, and then it comes for 10 marks in 2018, and then it comes for 7 marks in 2019, and so on. You can guess that there'll be a decent amount of marks on circle theorems in your exam paper. And you do that for all of your topics, and you do that for all your papers. So this one, you analyze the papers without you doing them. The technique we are looking at today is we're looking at where you specifically are losing marks in the exam. So that's what we're doing today. So I've created this little spreadsheet. Okay, so it looks like this. There is a link to download, but I'll share a link with you at the end of the live stream for you to download that too. So there's a little spreadsheet I've created, and it's got a couple of columns. So it's got question number, topic name, these are the main ones, how many marks you lost on that topic, and how many marks was it out of, which allows you to work out the percentage that you got correct. So if you lost 3 marks out of 5, you got 40% correct because you only got 2 out of 5 correct. If it was a 4-mark question and if you lost 4 marks and it was a 4-mark question, you got none of it correct. At the top, we've got some key numbers here. So this number here is the total number of marks you lost in the whole paper. So it's the total of this column, basically. The one in the blue, the total marks available, is the total of this green section. So how many marks was it out of? So that's not the whole paper, that's just the ones that you've got wrong. And then it's the percentage of marks that you lost. So we lost 10 marks, and let's say the paper was out of 100, then it's 10%. And then this one is what percentage did you get correct? So this student would have got 10% wrong, therefore got 90% correct. Now the only number you need to change, the only numbers you need to change are these rows here from row 5 onwards, and this number you'll need to change once, depending on your exam board. So most exam boards are, I think, 80 marks, but there are some that are 100 marks. So I've set this to 100, but we can just change this for yourself at the very beginning. Let me show you the spreadsheet to begin with. So here is the spreadsheet. Now, most people who do Edexcel or AQA would have 80 marks here. So the first thing I would do is I would create 80 there. So now the exam paper is out of 80. The next thing you want to do is you want to copy this. So you right click on the blank and then you go to move or copy and just create a copy, move it to the end. Right, and then I'm going to call this AQA paper 1, and I think the one we're looking at is 2018. I've already got some example data there, but what we're going to do is I've gone through an AQA exam paper and we're just going to log this. Now I've done it for an AQA one, I've done it for an Edexcel one, I've done a calculator and a non-calculator one. We're going to look at the non-calculator AQA one first. So it's the 2018 paper, paper 1. So the paper is out of 80 marks. So the first thing I need to make sure is that's 80. Now, once you've set that once, you never need to change that because all of your exams are going to be out of 80. If your exams are out of 100, you keep that at 100. So I've kind of pretended to mark an exam paper. So this student, I've assumed that this student got this correct. So I didn't lose any marks there. That's all correct. So this student lost a mark here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log that on this spreadsheet. So question number 4, I need to give it a topic name. Now try and make this topic as meaningful as you can. Don't just call it fractions because that's not helpful at all. Let's call this, so circle the number that's closest in value to this. I'd say this is approximation. So we call this approximation. And number of marks lost, it was a 1 mark question and we lost 1 mark. So 1 mark lost and it's 1 mark, therefore we got 0% of that correct. Okay, and we go on to the next bit. Let's find the next question that we got wrong. So that's correct here. So we've lost 3 marks on question number 7. So number 7, what is it about? And remember, the more specific you are, the better it is for your revision. So we've got some coordinates and we are trying to find the coordinates of D. It's very difficult to pinpoint an exact topic on this, so I'm going to go and say coordinates. Or finding, let's just call it coordinates. And it was a 3 mark question and we lost 3 marks on that. We continue to the next one we get wrong, so that's correct and correct. Here, number 10, inverse proportion. We've lost 2 marks on inverse proportion. So number 10, inverse proportion. And it was a 2 mark question and we lost 2 marks. Not sure what's going on here. That should be 4 marks, so that's correct. Correct. We lost 1 mark on question number 13. So the 1 mark question and we lost 1 mark. What is this on? So circle the volume, that's the same as 15 centimeters cubed. So this one is about conversions, more specifically converting volume. Converting volumes. That one's correct, that one's correct. Alright, so here is a probability question. Work out the expected number. So you could call this probability, but it's not as helpful as something more specific. So this is expected frequency. So question 15 is all about expected frequency, and this will help you more with your revision. So how many marks did I lose? I got 1 out of 3, so I lost 2 marks out of 3. So I got 33% of it correct. So that's number 15. Number 16 I got wrong, and Number 17 I've got wrong as well. Now I'm sure both of these are 1 markers. So number 16 is about ratio. And you can try and figure out exactly what it is, but for now I'm going to put ratio. And we also got number 17 wrong, which is all about advanced trigonometry, or sine and cosine rule. So both of these were 1 mark questions, so I lost 1 mark. So we have that. Number 18, not sure where the number of marks has gone there. I think this is a 5 mark question. So here is a toy tunnel. The diagram shows a cross section of the tunnel. Missing part of the question here. Right, so it's a 6 mark question. I'm just trying to read what the question is asking us. Semicircle arc, work out the total area of the 6 faces. So this is about surface areas. It's 5 marks, not 6. So this is all about 3D surface areas. And I'm going to put curved because it's a curved shape, and it was a 5 mark paper, 5 mark question. We got 2 right, and that was question number 18. Question number 19 is a cumulative frequency graph. So we lost 2 marks in part A. We lost 1 mark in part B, and we lost 2 marks in part C. Now you could just put this as a 5 mark question, but I think it's probably better to put it as a 3 mark question on cumulative frequency and a 2 mark question on box plots. So cumulative frequency, we lost 3 marks out of 3. 19C was on box plots, and we lost 2 out of 2. Right. So this one is a 4 mark question. Not sure what's wrong with the formatting here. It's a 4 mark question, and it's all about linear sequences. So it's a 4 mark question on linear sequences. And we lost all 4 marks. Number 21 we got correct, 22 we got correct, 23 we got correct, 24 we got correct, 25 we lost 2 marks there, so just 2, it was out of 2 and we lost 2. So 25 was about trig graphs. So it was 2 marks and we lost 2 marks. And then finally we have 26, which is a 3 mark question which we lost. So B is 2/3 of C. So this is a ratio question. Bit difficult to explain what else it is, so I'm just going to put a ratio question. I mean, if you'd done the question you'd know exactly what it's about, but I'm just going to put a ratio for now. And I lost 3 marks from a 3 mark question, so I got 0. And that's my whole, oh no, there's more questions. So we got 27 correct, and we got 28 correct, 29. So number 29 is 29A, we lost 3 marks. 29B we got correct. So 29A, 29A, we lost 3 marks, and this is all about transforming graphs. Okay, so that's transforming graphs. It was a 3-mark question and we lost 3 marks. And then finally, question number 30, we got wrong. Show that the value of this is an integer. So this is exact trig values. So 30, this is exact trig values. And we lost 3 marks out of 3. So that's my completed table. So now if we look at the top here, it says I've lost 33 marks. So that should be the total of that, which it is, if you look there, 33 marks. So I've lost 33 marks out of a possible 37 marks. Right, so there was 37 marks worth of questions which I got wrong. I got 33 of them wrong. Now that means in the paper, the whole paper is out of 80 marks, and if I lost 33 marks, then 80 minus 33 is 47, so that equates to 59%, and I lost 41%. Right, now that's what you're probably doing up until now, but what we need to do is use this for our own revision purposes. So how does this information now help you to revise going forward to your next practice exam paper? So these are all the topics where you are losing marks, and the more specific you are here, the better it is for your own revision. So if I want to know what topics are costing me the most marks, all I do is I go into column C and I arrange this from largest to smallest. Other people see just fine. Right, so I lost 4 marks on linear sequences, so that's probably a high priority for me. So I lost 3 marks on coordinates, 3 marks on commutative frequency, ratio, trig graphs and exact trig values. Then I lost 2 marks on these topics, and then I lost 1 mark on these topics. Right, so this tells me that I need to focus my revision on some of these to begin with. Okay, so that's an example from the AQA Paper 1 2018. Now I've also got, it depends on what you guys are, I've also got another AQA paper. I've got a calculator AQA paper which I can go through next, or I can go through an edXL paper. What would you guys prefer? If you just let me know in the chat, we can do that next. So we'll do one more and I'll talk you through the whole process. So depending on what you guys are you edXL, are you AQA? I mean, if you're A-level, let me know. Otherwise, I will just carry on with probably a let's do a non-calculator one instead, if there's no answers. I'll give you a few seconds because I know it takes a while to pop up on the chat. Let's move or copy. So let's create a new one. And then each tab here will represent, so every single tab you have here will represent a different paper, and you can always pull these up anytime you want. So let's see what comes next on my spreadsheet. So I've got an edXL one. Can we read the questions better? Yeah, let's do the edXL. So I've done an AQA, let's do an edXL, let's do the non-calculator edXL. I know it's a bit messy there. So let's call this edXL Paper 1 2018. Right, now the edXL paper is also out of 80 marks, so that can stay the same. If your paper is not out of 80, then you change that. Let's have a look at where we're losing marks here. So that's correct, that's correct. Correct. Right, 4-mark question here, not attempted. What is this on? This is on percentage profit. So question 3 is on percentage profit. I lost 3 marks out of 3. Number 4 is correct. Number 5 is correct. Number 6. Okay, so it's a 5-mark question. I've got 2 marks. What is this on? So this is on coordinates. Now if you remember from paper 1, there was a question on coordinates that I lost some marks on. So question 6, I'm going to call this coordinates again. I lost 3 marks out of a 5-mark question. This one is describing transformations. So number 7, describing transformations. Okay, so describing transformations, and it was a 2-mark question, and I lost 2 marks. 8 was fine, 9 was fine, 10 was fine, 11. So 11 is on circle theorems. So I got 2, so I lost 3 marks out of 5. Number 12 is proof. I lost 4 marks. Number 13 was fine. Number 14 was inverse and direct proportion. We'll call it proportion, number 14. So it was 5 marks and I lost 4 of them. 15 was fine. 16 I lost. So it is on probability. It's hard to tell specifically without sort of spending more time on it. Let's just call it probability. So question 16 is probability. And I lost 3 out of 3 there. Number 17 is algebraic fractions, or simplifying algebraic fractions. Number 18 is trig graphs, is what it looks like. So it's a 2-mark question and I lost 2 marks. So trig graphs. So I lost 2 out of 2 there. 19 I got right, 20 I got right, and that's the whole paper. So let's have a look at how I did on this paper. So on this paper I lost 27 marks, which is basically the total of this column here. Those questions were worth a total of 32, which it also says there. Now the paper was out of 80. If I lost 27, then that means I lost 34% of the marks and I got 66% of the marks in the paper. Now, where am I losing marks? So you go into here and you arrange it from largest to smallest, like that. And from here you can see that this student has lost 4 marks on proof and proportion. So you might want to concentrate some revision on that. Now proof is typically like a grade 8, grade 9 topic, and if you're not aiming for a grade 8 or grade 9, you wouldn't want to waste time revising proof. You want to sort of make sure you get some of these easier topics like percentage profit. It's just a simple formula to learn and you've got that. Proportion is a simple technique once you understand that. And if this student was just to do those 2 things there, they should hopefully get an extra 7 marks in their next practice paper. Now that we've sort of looked at 2 of these, we can see if there's anything that pops up in both. Now, the more of these that you do, the more you're going to see. So what do we see in here and in here? So can you see we've got coordinates? We lost 3 marks on this paper, and coordinates we lost 3 marks here. So just revising coordinates could get you an extra 6 marks. Is there anything else? There's inverse proportion here and there was proportion here. So this student lost another 6 marks, 4 and 2, on proportion. And this is just how you prioritize your revision. So make sure you do your revision on these topics. So this is a tool. I'm going to share a little link with you for this tool to download. So if you look in the description, there is a link there. Right, if you just click on that link, give me about 30 seconds. If you just click on that link, and I'm just going to change that link for you in the next 30 seconds. Right, so in order to download that, if you click on that link, you might need to refresh it in a second. Yeah, if you click on that link now, it should allow you to download it. Okay, so you click on that link, it might need a refresh. You can download that and you can basically do this for your own exam papers. Now once you do it, I'd go back and watch this recording. This will be uploaded in a few minutes. But the first thing you want to do is go into the blank, right click and copy. Okay, so don't mess around with this. Or actually the only thing you want to mess around with is you want to change this number to whatever your exam board is. So if your exam board is out of 100, change that to 100. If it's out of 80, keep that on 80 and then copy. So the only thing you'll see is blank and example. Okay, so just right click on that and then move or copy, and then just make sure you click create copy every time you do something. And you want to create a new tab for every single exam paper. And then once you've done 10 or 20 of these, this will give you a great picture of where you are dropping marks. And if you keep them in the order that you do them, you should hopefully see your progression as well. So you might see loads of topics here to begin with, and then as time goes on, you get less and less. So if you look here, we had loads of topics there, and then we only got a few topics here. We lost how many marks? We lost 33 marks in that paper. We lost 27 marks in this paper. Right, so that is how the tool works. You can download that yourself. Do you have any questions? You can also do it in order of percentage correct as well. So if I want to do this one, I'd do lowest to higher. So these are the topics where I got 0% of the question right. Okay, and you might want to work on it that way instead of number of marks lost. Initially, I would say go with number of marks lost for now. And you want to make sure you don't see all of these zeros. So what I don't like seeing was when students see a hard question and they don't attempt anything. So you want to attempt something. So if you look here, these were 3-mark questions and we lost 3 marks. So they got 0 marks. It's quite easy on a 3 or 4 or 5-mark question to get that first mark. So even if it looks ridiculously difficult, I mean, we'll have a look at some of these questions. Let's see where... This is purely fictional, what I've done here, but like if we look at this one here, simplify this, but imagine a student's left this completely blank. I mean, one thing that you could have done is, you see the bottom of that fraction, they have a common factor of 2x. If you were able to just do that, you would have got yourself 1 mark. Okay, it's very easy to get 1 mark in these questions, in some of these long, big mark questions. So that the proof one, that's going to be quite a difficult one to get 1 mark on. Let me find another one where I've just marked it as 0 marks for a big question. Here. So this is question 3. Question 3 is not meant to be difficult. Rennie buys 5 kilograms of sweets to sell. She pays £10 for the sweets. I'd just write something like 5 kg sweets cost £10. She puts the sweets into bags, 250 sweets into each bag. So 250 grams. So 5 kg or 250 grams times 4 equals 1 kilo. So 1 kilo, if there's 4 bags in 1 kilogram, then how many bags are there? In 5 kilograms, there's going to be 20 bags. And just for having 20 bags somewhere, you'll definitely get 1 mark. You might even get more. Right, so look at where you're losing the marks. Okay, and try not to leave questions blank. Just try something. Right, that's everything I wanted to explain. If you've got any questions, let me know. That link will be available in the description there. So feel free to download that, and I will see you in the next one if there are no other questions. So thank you for joining.